YouTube Nation, I am Wheelbreaker41 and welcome to the Back to the 80s podcast YouTube channel, to where this time around I'm going to be doing the opposite of our last video. That's right, last episode on the Back to the 80s podcast we did a homework assignment that is, it's the opposite. We've already done our most 5 annoying characters in the cartoons from the 80s. This time we're going to do our favorite characters or cartoons from the 1980s in our top 5 list. If you want to participate in this, feel free to do a video response. Add it to the bottom. If you don't want to do a video response, head on over to the Nerdsphere. Go underneath the Back to the 80s podcast section. Click on it. There will be a thing that says Top 5 Cartoon Characters of the 80s. List your top 5, and we will announce them on this upcoming week's podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with mine. I'm going to go from 5 to 1. If you're doing a video review, you can do it however you want. But my number 5 is Krang from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The reason I picked Krang as number 5 is because he was so funny. It's a talking brain inside a human body. If you listen to the Back to the 80s David Wise interview, he explains how he came up with that idea, which is kind of cool in itself. But my number 5 is Krang. Number 4 on my top 5 favorite cartoon or characters list is Panthro from the Thundercats. I mean, seriously, the dude gets to drive the Thunder Tank. Yeah, you don't get any cooler than that, I don't think. He was definitely a character that you wanted to be in that franchise. I don't think there's a lot of people, except for Phil, that wanted to be Tigra, but oh well. Third on my list is Trailbreaker from Transformers. Love Trailbreaker. I love all those G1 guys, but I've got to say, in one that didn't make the list, and I don't know, well, he just couldn't fit on here. I could have done a top 5 Transformers, and he'd have been on there, was Hound, but it's because of Trailbreaker. My mom actually had that car that Trailbreaker was made after, pretty much, and I always thought I was riding around in Trailbreaker. Other than that, I always thought he was a cool character, cool toy, cool everything around. Number 2 on my list is from the G.I. Joe franchise, and it's my second villain, and it's Firefly. Love Firefly. Always liked him more in Storm Shadow, always liked him a lot more in Snake Eyes. Just a cool character. I love the gray and kind of darkish, all the different shades of gray camo. I like that he was a saboteur. In a lot of episodes, was seen in a lot of episodes. He was also a pretty good fighter, and was also just a really good character all around. Definitely my favorite in G.I. Joe. But who is my top favorite? Who's on the top list? Who is it? Who is it? I'm named after him. Come on, people. Wheeljack from Transformers. I tried not to do too many of one franchise, but I mean, my name's Wheelbreaker. I had to throw Wheeljack and Trailbreaker in there, didn't I? I think so. Wheeljack, I loved his inventions. I loved his head. His head's what got to me. And pretty much, actually it's not pretty much, he's the first Transformer you ever see in the movie. Or in the, not the movie, in the cartoons. Loved his Cybertron alt mode. Wish they'd do that. Wish they'd make more Wheeljack toys. I'd buy every one of them. Loved Wheeljack. Thought he was great. Invented the Dinobots and all that other stuff. You all know the history of Wheeljack, so he should be everybody's favorite. But he's not gonna be. Go ahead. Review your top 5. Tell us who your top 5 are. Throw them on this Back to the 80s podcast review channel. If you don't want to deal with that, head over to the Nerdsphere. I'll put the link below so you can get there easily. And type in your top 5 cartoon list. We'll read it on the podcast. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm Wheelbreaker41 for the Back to the 80s podcast. See you later, bye.
Defender of the universe. By the power